Selam, the nation of Lemba, Beta Israel, in all the four corners of the earth. I'd like to send the Senbet Salam greetings. We just had the Senbet celebrations today from sunrise to sunset, is according to our traditions and customs in Lemba, Beta Israel. I should like to send Senbet Salam greetings to all the children of Lemba, Beta Israel. I am speaking from the royal courts of Lemba, Beta Israel in Santiago, Chile, South America. This is King Binyam Selamun of Lemba, Beta Israel, the nation that came out of Yemen and Sena in Yemen a long time ago. So I should like to distinguish and also to wish a happy Senbet Salam that we just heard today from sunrise to sunset to our honorable Queen Mother, Queen Bukeka, Israel Harbor, and to all the royal house of this kingdom, and to members of the executive, the Royal Executive Council of the kingdom, and the Royal Supreme Courts in Southern South Africa, the land of Sinai. And I should like to also distinguish the priesthood and the messengers in the kingdom. The Dakike Lemba Beta Israel, Dakike, which means the children, the offspring of this nation. In all the four corners of the earth, of course, as we know that the children of Israel are scattered around the world, and they do not have one specific location where they can gather under the same sun, under the same moon, under the same sky. So they are spread all around the world. So I should like to send Senbet or Senbet Salam greetings to all of you in different places where you live, where you dwell now presently in foreign lands. I say foreign lands because we have not made the second exodus from foreign lands to our own land of promise. So for this reason, I keep saying that you're living in your foreign lands. So therefore, this is not the promised land yet for you. So I am sending this message as a message for the Senbet, because I have realized that many of the children of Israel do not understand the meaning of the Senbet, or there has been confusion about what the scriptures say about the Sabbath, the Senbet. I say Senbet because this is the way, this is what how we call it, the way we call it in the original language of the Lemba Beta Israel people from Yemen in the southern Arabian Peninsula, that the language that was spoken by the children of Israel from these lands was Ge'ez, the Ge'ez language, which is written with the script called Abugida, which is not Roman characters at all. Yes, and people must also understand that I'm not talking about the classic Arabic. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the language of the children of Saba, which is Ge'ez, which means the good people. Now, I would like to explain the Senbet that we celebrate is the seventh day of the week. in our calendar, in our lunar calendar. So as we observe the new moon and we spot the new moon at the end of 29 days or 30 days of the outgoing moon, we do have the new moon and we start counting. So I probably will have to start off with speaking a little more about the calendar because this day, which of the Sambat, the seventh day of the week, has to come in the calendar. So I'm bound to explain a little bit about the calendar as well to clarify where this day fits in the calendar. Because if I cannot talk about the calendar, then it makes no sense because the day doesn't just materialize out of nothing. It has to come from the other 6 days of the week. So in this way, it forces me to speak about the calendar, how this calendar in Israel, in Beta Israel, is counted, how we arrive at a certain date, how we're able to determine our seasons, how we're able to determine our year, and what is a leap year in our calendar and according to our customs. So I know that this is a very controversial topic out there for most of you, but as I speak now, I am speaking as one from the progenitors of this culture. I am not speaking as a scholar of Hebrew studies. I'm speaking as a custodian of these customs. As a leader, I am speaking on behalf of the people in terms of the keeping of their customs and tradition. What those traditions that are preserved through the monarchy have to say. So I'm not here to open arguments that I think that one school of thought says this, another school of thought says this. I'm not looking at that. I am not interested in Western research here. I'm here to speak my tradition. So I do not want to open arguments. Someone may argue that what I'm telling them may not be right. Well, look, I am not interested because if you are from our custom, you should know what I'm going to tell you right now. It's just going to be a reminder. So even though you know, it's a rule and a law to tell you from time to time to remind you, or just to tell as a custom that something about the culture and the tradition of Israel, of Beta Israel, must be told. Whether you have forgotten or not, it's a tradition to tell. So I will speak about it. We celebrated the Sambat today from sunrise to sunset. So now it's in the evening, it's night already, so the Sambat is finished. But I wanted to explain because I can see I posted the message was posted on Facebook and on social media that it was the Sambat and it was celebrated from sunrise to sunset. And someone objected, or several people got confused that how can the Sambat day or any other day start from sunrise and end at sunset. Someone was complaining that this is not what the scriptures have to say. Well, it matters also what they mean by scriptures because, we have something that is called scriptures today, that is called Hebrew scriptures today, that has nothing to do with Beta Israel. So we must be very careful what we mean by scripture here, because there are people out there who have what you call scriptures, and this may have nothing to do with our nation and may have nothing to do with this kingdom. So they can still call it scriptures. They are free to call it whatever they want to call it, because we cannot stop people from calling something scripture if they want to call it scripture. But my biggest question is, the scriptures are scriptures to us only if they are scriptures from Lemba Beta Israel. So Beta Israel has the scriptures. And these scriptures are in Ge'ez, the true language of the origin of the Israelites from Yemen in the southern Arabian Peninsula. Yes. And so now, as I speak to you now, we are making sure that we explain what the scriptures are and what the scriptures may not be, so that when we talk about scriptures, we speak the same language. When I say scriptures, I'm going to make it clear that I'm talking about the scriptures of Lemba, Beta Israel. I'm not talking about the scriptures from other also sources. Okay, I'm not talking about the Jewish scriptures. I'm not talking about that. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the scriptures that we have in Beta Israel and the customs that we have in Beta Israel, the traditions that we have in Beta Israel, what kind of a calendar system that we have in Beta Israel. How do we count? How do we know our seasons? How do we know which year it is? How do we arrive at these figures, at these numbers that we have? Now, I am going to make it clear because there's a lot of confusion out there about what scriptures people must be following if they are Israelites. So now we have religions here that are messing up with our culture here. You know, we have religions that claim ownership and proprietorship, if I were to say, if you like, that this culture of Lemba Beta Israel, Beta Israel, which I'm representing today, is now being viewed as a religion of Judaism or a religion of Christianity or a religion of Islam. So those foundations, I don't know where they got the permission to use some of our traditions and to steal our culture and spread it as if it's something they have manufactured in their own organizations, political organizations, for example, like Judaism and whatever, Christianity, political organizations. And these political organizations and clubs and social clubs have taken our culture and have made it look like it's a religious thing. Yes. So I'm going to explain these misconceptions so that you can have a clear mind today. But I'm going to say we celebrated the Sabbath today from sunrise to sunset. It is the custom and the tradition. I thought this was a common sense topic. No, it's not common sense. I realized that some people don't know what is a day, what is a night. I thought it was obvious enough. You know, I made a big mistake that thinking that when I say the Sabbath day is this, the people know that I'm not talking about the Sabbath night. I'm not talking about the night. I'm talking about a day. Yeah. A day is not a night. A night is not a day. So you can count how many days something is done, the duration of something that has to be done, how long it will take, how many days it will take. Yes, you can count the number of days something will take to be done, for example, as an example, duration of something. Or you can count the nights, the duration in which something can be done in how many nights. Maybe you have a project that happens at night or some work that has to be done at night. So you will say, okay, how many nights do I need to complete this job, for example? But if you don't work at night, you just have to mention how many days you will take to complete the same task. Because it's not done in the night, it's done in the day. What is a day? A day means the light of the sun. That's what a day means. A night means the darkness of the deep. That's a night. So when does the day start? at sunrise, when the light comes up. That's the day. Yes. And the day lasts only 12 hours, not 24. Hmm. Hmm. Let's work like that. Because the day means light. It doesn't mean the night. The night begins in the evening. Yeah. So if you have a clock, what you need to do is that when the sun rises and the light becomes, it shows up, the first light shows up, you should strike number 1 on the clock. Yes, the first hour of a day. 1. Hour number 1. Not 6, not 5, no. The numbers do not start from 5, they start from 1. We have that number 1 in Ge'ez. It's called Ahadu. Ahadu. Not Ahadu. Not Ahad. No, that's German. We don't speak German. We have the symbols, the alphabets, the, the, the alphabets from ha to ba. We don't have ha. We have ha. Not ha. That's German languages. Yes, it's Dutch. It's not the language of the Israelites. The language of the Israelites is in Ge'ez. In Ge'ez we have explosives. We have ka. We have ha. We have he, ho, as variations of the first symbol ha. And we have it in the script in the Abugida, the Ge'ez script, not in Roman characters. And there is no way of transliterating Roman characters, Ge'ez script into Roman characters. It's impossible. So the people have to rely on hearing every sound and try to transliterate the sound they hear in Ge'ez into Roman characters. They can write in Roman characters, but that does not represent the true Ge'ez language, because you cannot transliterate the Ge'ez script into Roman characters. It's impossible. Yeah. So what is happening here is that there is a total misinterpretation of the true language of the Israelites from Yemen. Yes, that's where they came from originally. Yes. And so now the problem here is the day is not the night. Okay? The night is not the day. So if the sun rises is hour number 1, okay? You take your clock, you see the sunrise, you start 1, number 1, the normal clock that you usually use. Then it will be 1 after 1, 2 minutes after 1, 3 minutes after 1, and continue that way until you get to the second hour. Yes. And so there will be 12 hours in a day. At sunset, it will be the 12th hour of that particular day. Which means at sunset, which is the evening, is not a day anymore, is the beginning of a night. So when the night falls at 12, remember you were counting from 1 and the sun was rising. Then you get to 12. Your clock will show 1 again. Yeah. For the first hour of the night. It's not a continuation of hours. No. The first hour of something called a night begins in the evening. Yeah. Then it will go on until the 12th hour of the night. So here now, when we get to that 12th hour, we have one day and one night. How many days, how many nights have we got now? We have 9. We have 12 nights, 12 hours, one night, one day. That's what we have. Now, we have problems here. We cannot celebrate the Sabbath properly because the people are celebrating the Sabbath in the Jewish culture. And some of the Israelites have adopted the Jewish culture or the culture of a religion of Judaism that says that the evening is the beginning of a day. Yeah. The evening is the beginning of a night, not a day. I thought this was common sense, until I realized, no, wait a minute, it's not common sense. Because my son was telling me, Daddy, why are you explaining this? Because it's too obvious. I said, I've seen people saying that the evening begins the day. And I've heard the Gregorian calendar observers saying that their day is 24 hours. Then I said to my son, this is not too obvious. Maybe we need to explain this. Daddy said, and then my son said, Daddy, but this is just too easy to understand. I said, I don't know why, if it is easy to understand, are people still holding on to this thing of saying that the day is 24 hours? Even in the night, in the darkness, they still say they're in the day. This is, I think, is a mental problem. It's a mental problem. My son, a young boy, told me this. He said, are these people okay up here or not? Yeah. They call a day a night and a night a day. Have they have problems with the eyes? Can they see this as dark? How can you call the darkness of the night a day? How can you do that? This must be a serious problem of the mind or the eyes. Yes. Now, the question is, so we celebrate the day here. And on that day, we don't work because most of our work is done in the day. We don't work at night. At night, we usually rest and sleep. Yes. And we put off the fire. Why? Because the fire is dangerous. If we let it burn all night long, it might catch bushes and start burning all over the place. So because we live in settlements where we have a lot of nature around us. Yes. So if we don't put off the fires at night when we sleep, see, after cooking or after using it, then we are going to have problems of the accident that this fire could catch up the bushes around us and then start a wildfire. That's why we have to put off the lights in the evening after we have used it, maybe to cook or to do anything with it. Yes. So that's why we need to put it off. It is not because of the Sabbath alone. No, 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 no. We do that all nights. After we have used the fire for the evening, we we put it off so that we don't stand the danger of this fires causing accidents, catching on property and all around the environment. Yeah. So this is exactly what is going on. But now the question is, the people that were speaking to me about the day beginning in the evening, and the morning and the evening is the first day. They were reading about this in so-called Hebrew scriptures that say that the creation was done that way. It says it's the story of creation. They're reading from a Bible. They're reading from the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, that the evening is the beginning of a day. That is why they celebrate the Senbet in 24 hours. So their Senbet is 1 day and 1 night. Hey, stupid things. And now they say they read that they're doing that because they read it from the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis says this. King James Version says this. 1611 King James Version says this. Who is this King James Version? 1611. Who is that? Who is that person? Genesis sounds like Greek to me. Greek? The nation of Israel is now a Greek nation with something called Genesis in the scriptures? I didn't know that. Genesis is a Greek word from the Greek people. The Greek people are not Israelites. Why is an Israelite man calling himself an Israelite, quoting scriptures of the Greek people? Why is he doing that? How are the Greeks coming into Israelite scripture? How is that possible? Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy. Who is that? Who are these people? I don't know these people. I don't know them. Matthew, Mark, Luke. Who is that? I don't know that person. The Greeks know this person. The Latin people know this person because it's in their language, not in Ge'ez, the language of the Israelites. You know. So you are reading the Greek Testament. And the Greek Testament tells you that the evening is the beginning of your day. Let's go to Ethiopia together. Let's go to Ethiopia. Let's take a trip to Ethiopia. Yeah, where the people never lost their culture completely. They may have lost some of it, but not all of it. If you get there with your watch, you will have to change your time because your time is full of rubbish. When you get there, you need to change it and put it right because they have a clock and they are looking at the change of the day, from day to night, from night to day. All these changes are inside their clock. They count. Okay, first hour, second hour. They are not making mistakes about this. So when you get there into Ethiopia, change your time, please. Can we help this man who's coming here to Ethiopia? to please do something about the timing. They don't seem to know what's going on here. Yeah. I know there are different time zones. I have no problem. I'm not talking about the different time zones. I'm talking about the way the people count is not according to the natural setup of things. If the sun is not there, how can it be the day? The Ethiopians don't make mistake on this. No, they don't. They may have lost some traditions because many of them are Christians now, which was not originally their culture anyway. But some of them are clinging to that. Yeah, that is another point to discuss on another day. But they have not lost this particular aspect of life, of knowing that this day is not a night and the night is not a day. Yeah. Of course, they're also reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and all that Roman fiction, but they have not lost the time of a night and a day. In Beta Israel, in the nation of Israel, that many people who are following these traditions think they are Israel, but they're still following the Greek philosophy, the Greek Testament. They even call it the Old Testament, Greek Old Testament. It's getting old. Don't they have current affairs? Yes. And now, so in this so-called Greek Old Testament, which was written by the Greeks, not by us, because when we write scriptures, we do not write something called Genesis, Exodus, because we do not write in Greek. We don't. So if the Greek take chances with our scriptures, try to turn them into their scriptures, they will put their own names, of course. And they could change anything they want because now these are Greek scriptures. They may have got the idea from us. They may have gotten the idea from us because when I go through those so-called Greek Old Testament, the so-called Old Testament or so-called Hebrew scriptures, I found some of our stories in there, but a little twisted there. Yes. I'll give you examples. When I read the so-called Old Testament and New Testament, I come across some of the stories of my people being told inside there, but twisted a little bit to make the Greeks happy, to make the Romans happy. Yes. For example, the Passover lamb. The instruction was given that this Passover lamb, you must eat everything. The whole of the lamb must be eaten. Yes. Nothing should be spared of the lamb. Now the Greeks said, including the internal organs. Oh, wait a minute. This is not my tradition. We don't eat internal organs of a lamb. They are unclean in Israel, the real Israel, not the Greeks. Maybe for the Greeks it's okay to eat the internal organs of a lamb. It's written in the Greek scriptures called the Old Testament that in Genesis and Exodus that as Moses was leaving Egypt with the children who were enslaved in Egypt, the Passover lamb was to be eaten and not only eat the meat, but also eat the internal organs, the internal organs of the lamb. The internal organs in Lemba, Beta Israel customs are unclean. They mustn't be eaten. We don't eat unclean things. Yeah. So the Greek man is taking chances with this. Yeah. And he's putting his own stuff here. And then he says, these are Hebrew scriptures. Hebrew scriptures saying that you should eat unclean things? Hebrew scriptures saying that? Impossible. Impossible. Yeah. According to our customs, we don't even need to read any book. We know our customs very well. We pass them from generation to generation. Latewlad, latewlad, tewlad, from generation to generation. Yes. In Gez, we say that. Yeah. Latewlad, tewlad, from generation to generation. Yeah. We don't need a book to be published to tell us that the internal organs of a lamb should not be eaten, they are unclean. We already know. Sorry. Thank you very much. Excuse me. I don't need a Greek book to tell me that. A book called Genesis. Who is Genesis? I don't know him. Where do you get him from? I don't have someone called Genesis in my family. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Genesis told you that the evening is the beginning of a day. Genesis. He must be crazy. Genesis. He must be crazy. Look, a day is the light. Okay? Tell Genesis these things. I send you back to Genesis. Tell Genesis, you are fool number one. The true story of the people behind the story that you're trying to imitate is that the day begins in the day at the light of the sun. Tell Genesis these things. Tell Genesis to come to his senses. Tell him. Yeah. The internal organs of an animal, according to Israel custom, the true Israel that I'm representing today, my customs and my traditions in my own nation. As a leader, I'm a custodian and to preserve these customs so they are not lost. Yeah, is that those internal organs must be removed completely from the lamb. First of all, it is slaughtered by slitting the throat so that all the blood drains out completely. We don't eat meat with blood on it. Yes. First of all, the way of slaughtering the lamb, it should be that the blood must drain out completely from the lamb. 2, we take those internal organs inside, they are all unclean, and then we burn them in the fire. And then after we have burned them in the fire, what remains only is the ashes. I'm speaking my custom now. I'm not speaking Western research. I'm not speaking what the school of thought says there is from New York or from Philadelphia. No. London University. No. Not interested. I'm not asking any professor of any institution in the world to tell me, what do you think of this? No. I'm speaking my tradition now. Yeah. According to my tradition, we take the internal organs of an animal like that, not only for Passover, for all the time when we slaughter an animal. We take that and then we put in the fire until it has come to ashes. And then we throw these ashes away and make sure that we throw them in a place which is not frequently visited by people. This is my custom. Yes. I am not here to open arguments. I'm telling you about my custom. Maybe you can tell me about yours. Maybe we can become friends and keep on sharing customs. Yes. I don't have a problem with that. Okay, you can tell me, in my custom, I do it differently. I say, okay, thank you. I've learned something new today. Yes. But in my custom in Beta Israel, we do it this way. Maybe from your Greek custom, you do it in another way. I have no problem with that. But don't say that your custom is mine, and I will not say that my custom is yours. Okay? Yes. Let's see. Senbet, Selam, the peace of the Sabbath, the seventh day. How did we get to the seventh day? Well, we have the new moon. All our moons are either 29 days or 30 days. Only these two options. They never get to 31. Impossible. They never fall on 28. Impossible. Why am I saying impossible on things? Because that's what we observe. It does not depend on theories. Oh, your theory is saying this. No, it's not a theory. It's an observation. Even in the scientific hypothesis, they have observation as part of the scientific hypothesis. You know, we observe things as they are. Yes. So we spot the new moon. Let's say we spot the new moon today, this evening, not the beginning of the day, the beginning of the night. Get this right, please, people. And we spot the new moon, because the other moon ended on the 29th or the 30th. So these two evenings are evenings of observation. Okay. So if we have seen it on the 29th of the outgoing moon, it means that that moon was only 29 days. It was not 30. This is possible because it rotates between 29 and 30 only. I bet $1 million over this thing. Yeah. And then when we see that new crescent that evening, then we say, there is new moon. We declare it as a new moon because we have witnesses, 3 witnesses, male witnesses, not women. We are not discriminating against women, but this is the custom, that only 3 men, male, circumcised men, should be able to bear witness and make official witness to the courts, the royal courts, the courtyard. And then this authorization is made that this is really the new moon, and that is authorized by the king of the nation. 3 male witnesses must give witness to the sighting of the new moon. Then it can be taken as an official sighting of the new moon. Yes. And then we see the moon in that evening. And then the next day, okay, the next day will be the first Ehud, Elat day, Ehud of the new moon. Number 1 day of the new moon at sunrise. Not the evening. No, at sunrise, when the light comes in. The first light will be day 1. And that day 1 is called Ehud. Yehud. Yes. Then we start counting. No, we don't count in the evening because the evening is not the start of the new day. It's the last night of the outgoing moon, not the first day. Hold your peace. Yeah. So now, as this is the case, we start counting 1. Day 1. That day 1 could fall into any day in the Gregorian calendar. We don't care. We are not following the Gregorian calendar at all. So that day of day one could be Monday, could be Tuesday, could be Thursday, could be Monday, could be Friday, could be Sunday. It does not matter what day it is, because we are not interested in the Gregorian calendar anyway. We are looking at the moon. We are not looking at Gregorian calendar followers. We are not interested. Okay? We are following the moon, not the other people around us. We don't know what they're up to. See? So today we got to 21st of our moon Tahassus. It's the 10th moon in the year. That's why we have the Senbet today, and it was a Gregorian Monday. And someone will say, why not Saturday? Saturday? Who is that? I don't know him. Maybe you know him because you come from Rome or you come from Latin, whatever. I don't know what you're talking about. I know about the Senbet. We have day Ehud, which is day one. We have Sanyo, which is the second day of the week. We have Makasanyo, which is the third day of the week. We have Rabue, which is the fourth. And then we have the fifth, which is Hamusi. And then we have the sixth, which is Sadus. And then the seventh, which is Senbet. Yes. So we start counting. We're looking at the moon. We know when we spotted it. And then we start counting 1, 2, 3, until we get to 7. When we get to 7, we celebrate the Senbet. It doesn't matter which day in the Gregorian calendar it is. Who cares? Who cares? Why is it so important that it should be this day of the Gregorian? For what? For what? Oh my God. Now we count until we get to the 29th. By the time we get to the 29th, it is most likely that that month will be probably ending on the 29th. But if we don't see the moon, the new moon on the 29th, we will see it on the 30th evening, which is the beginning of the 30th night of the outgoing moon, not the beginning of the day of the other moon. No. We don't count like in Gregorian. No. Like now they are saying that it is the 7th of December. 7th. The moon was seen 21 days ago. Okay? So what is a 7 all about? 7 of what? Stupid things. Now, what we need to do is to make you understand this is the tradition of the Lemba Beta Israel people. The highest civilization on earth, because it's just according to the way the cosmic manifestation is. So we are better than any, we can challenge anyone in the world and say, look at the moon. It's the 21st day. Look at the moon. Don't look at us. Why are you looking at us? You want the truth, right? Okay. Or you think we have the truth. Okay, you can look at us. But here is the moon to prove itself. How long it has been showing itself to the people over there. Yeah. Oh my God. So then we go on and on and on and on and on until we get to the 12th month. Yes. There are 12 months in 1 year. There are 7 days a week. How do we arrive at 7 days a week? We have a digital system, a numeric system that agrees with the 7 days. We have mathematics here, our own civilization. It is not from the Gregorian that we are hearing this. It's not from the Greeks or the Romans that we are hearing this. It comes from our own civilization, our own mathematical calculation. Okay? And I'm here as a leader to protect this tradition so that it doesn't go away. Yeah. So, 7 days a week is representative of our numeric system. Yes. Because we have symbols which look like alphabets that you have, like you have what you call alphabets or symbols in your in the Roman numbers. That's not our culture. But I'm just trying to make an example so you can understand that we're talking about digits here. Like you have digits also in the Roman system, which is not our system at all. And so this system is saying we have each symbol or each alphabet has got 7 variations. Okay? 7 variations, which means it has got sounds. Like the first one, for example, I will give an example. Okay? Is ha. So it will keep on going into conjugations and different variations and become ha, he, who, he, and all that. And those are variations until they get to 7 of them, still in the first symbol or the first alphabet, ha. The last one is pa. Yes, there are about 26 of them. And so what you'll do is you will have 7 variations in each one of these symbols to make different sounds. Yes. You see. They are written out in this way. So, which means the first variation will look like day 1. The second variation of the same alphabet or symbol will be day 2. Like, for example, the 6th variation is Sadus, which is also the 6th day. Wow. So when you say 7 days, we are not talking Greek, Roman stuff here. Because I heard someone say, oh, there is a deception about 7 days. You got it from someone else. No, we didn't. Our language goes into those variations of 7. Per alphabet, it has 7 variations of sounds. It's not from the Greeks. It's not Roman characters. Okay? Yes. But now you're telling me someone called Genesis has told you that the beginning of the day is the evening. Someone called Genesis. Who cares about Genesis? Who is this person called Genesis? I don't know him. Where does he come from? The story of creation in Lemba, Beta Israel is contained in the Maccabean. When I say Maccabean, I'm not talking about the Maccabees of the Hellenist people. I'm not. That was in the 1st century. I'm not talking about the 1st century here. I'm talking about time immemorial. Yeah. I'm going back to the 1st millennium BC. Yeah. I'm talking about 5000 BC. I'm not talking the things of the Maccabean here. Our Maccabean is not that Maccabean. We're talking about old pre-Islamic stuff here. Yeah. Okay. The story of creation in Israel is found in the Maccabean, which is not the Maccabean of the Greeks. Yes, we have our own Maccabean, and we have 3 volumes. Sometimes they call it Ethiopian Maccabean. The first, the second, the third. In Ge'ez. The language is Ge'ez. Please. The language of the scriptures is Ge'ez. Yes. And we have the story of creation for real as well. Not only in Maccabean, but we have the story of creation from the Sambat, which is the precepts of the Sambat, is our literature. We didn't get it from the Greeks. It was not written in the Greek language. They could have tried to take chances to copy it and twist it for themselves. It is not our business. We're not interested in them. But you cannot call yourself Israelite and then you read Greek literature. Forget it. It doesn't work like that. The stories that we are telling you now of creation, which are written in the books that I've just mentioned, have now been twisted by the Greeks. And then you are saying that these Greek writings are your writings in Israel. No, they're not. No, they're not. You want me to give more examples? I will. I'll give more examples if you want me to. Yes. And therefore, the Sambat and the seasons and everything else has been messed up because someone else is taking our scriptures and turning them into Greek things which have different things inside them and different ingredients that we never agreed with them that they should be put in there. Yes. I give examples. So the story of creation is very clear. So what you see in Genesis, Deuteronomy, and all that, it is just the corruption of our story. Oh my God. Hey, we have to release this true story so that you can compare, Yeah, we are working on the writings of the original stuff because our original stuff had not been put into place because before I came in, those who came before me did not do a good job in leading the people to the truth of what it should have been. So the people then got lost and followed the Greek writings, which twisted our scriptures. Yes. They could twist them deliberately, or they could twist them because of their misunderstanding of the Ge'ez language in which these scriptures were written originally. Yes. So there are 2 possibilities of them twisting and changing them, the story. The story was literally ours. And then they took it and then they twisted it and they wrote it, some of the characters in their own language. And they started to put in things that we find them not to be true because it's our story they're playing around with. Yes. And so, because of that, I have come. I'm not like the other kings that came before me who did not want to put this back right to the right position it should have been. They just followed this. Yes. They just went with the flow. I'm very uncompromising. So I'm saying, no. I want the original stuff. Where is it? So that's why my kingdom at this time is working on the real scriptures of what happened in our story, correctly written without being Genesis, Deuteronomy, and all that. Yeah. Because they took our story and they twisted it. I'll give you many examples. So the story of creation is in the Sasa Sambat, which is translated in English as the precepts of the Sabbath, or the commandments of the Sabbath. This is where the true story is being told. So what you see in Genesis, Deuteronomy is snippets of this story. And misinformation of the story at certain time, certain things. So if you are using these Greek writings called the Old Testament, which is Greek, you are standing a chance of going wrong because of misinformation inside there. So you are doing that at your own risk if you don't come to ask the original people. If you don't come to us, original people, you are going at your own risk of getting the wrong information about Israel. It's not about Greek people, it's about Israel represented by the Greeks. Oh my God. What ridiculous thing this is. Now, so we have come back to put it right. So they are so alarmed as they hear me saying this because they never thought there would be a king of these people that have been so exploited over the years, coming up to say, this is our story. Why are you saying this about it? We're here to defend our story. They never dreamed that there could be a king behind this who will say, I'm protecting my custom here. I'm protecting my culture. They never knew there would be someone like that. So they're so shocked and they say, who is this man? Who is this man? Oh my God. Shall we get rid of this man? Yeah. So they don't know that in Israel there is a king. They have never dreamed of someone like that. They thought all these people just follow them. They said, this is what Israel is all about. This is what Israel is all about. This is what Israel is all about. So the story of creation is not right. As I told you, there will be certain things that may look right a little bit, but then they get twisted again. So you can't rely on such things. So we are speeding up as quickly as possible to correct these things very quickly before many of us get lost completely, because this is terrible. This is ridiculous. Yeah. So another example to show you that this has been twisted and it's not been right. Another example. is Moses story. That Moses saw a burning bush. Okay. And then the voice said to him, Moses, 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 the Egyptian. The Egyptian. He was never an Egyptian anyway. There's no such place called Egypt in the first place. It doesn't exist. So why would you have someone called Egyptian when this thing called Egypt is just a fictitious word? It doesn't exist. First and foremost. So he wouldn't even call him the Egyptian because the Egypt does not even exist. It's a fiction. So what they call Egypt today, which is a Greek word, because the people from Greece do not come from the land that is called Egypt today, or that used to be what you saw called ancient Egypt. Yeah, that place is not Egypt. It's not Chemet. Chemet is also a Syrian word. Still, it belongs to the Akkadians. Oh my God. So that place which was so called Egypt is not Egypt, it's Gebetz. But also in the Tariq Nagashit, which is the history of the kings, when I talk about the history of the kings, I'm talking about the history of the kings of Egypt, so-called Egypt, and so-called Ethiopia today. It's called Tariq Nagashit, which means the story of the kings. Because one king is Negushe. So if there are many, you say negotiate, which means many kings. Tariq means the history. There is literature in our custom, in our culture, from us called Tariq Negotiate. Yes. The story, the history of the kings of Punt and Mesor. The name of the of Egypt, the ancient Egypt that was called, it's not only called Gebetz, it's also called Mesor, because this depends on how you view the place. So the place was viewed in two forms. One, as Gebetz, Gebetz is the barley. After you ground it, you call it gebetz. And then mesor is the lentils that you eat. So because of the growing of this food in that particular area, the name was given these names according to the view of the people and the perspective of the people that were looking at this place, because it was producing this kind of food. Yes, you see. So the story about this place is contained in the Tariq Negotiate, the history of the kings, which goes beyond 5000 BC story. So what we have now is what between the third millennium and the fifth millennium story of the kings that existed in that particular area that is called Egypt today and what is called Ethiopia today, contained in these chronicles. All right? Yes. So according to our culture, each king has a chronicle, and the chronicles are written by the chronicler of the king while the king is still alive or shortly after he has died. This person has been writing these things accompanying the king all the time. So he can't miss the story of the king. That's where the chronicles are coming from. That's what forms the Bible. Yes, the chronicles of the king, whoever it is, the chronicles of this other king by this name, the chronicles of this, they are written by chroniclers that are appointed by the king to write about the king's life and experiences and conquests and occupations and wars and victories. Yeah. So we are confident about our story because it's written within our people by our people about our man, our king, not the king of another nation. Okay. The place is called Mesor, which means lentils. It doesn't mean the black face. No. Mesor is lentils that you eat. We still have lentil soup in Ethiopia. Yes. That is associated with this word because the Egyptians are the people that are in Eritrea, in Sudan, and Ethiopia today. So I don't understand this stupid thing of people doing archaeological digging so they can get 100 human skulls to try to establish what the ancient Egyptians look like when the ancient Egyptians are just next door. Their descendants are just next door. I don't understand that. Why don't they call one Sudanese man and then examine him and find ancient Egypt in him? The Sudanese man is not extinct. The Ethiopian man is not extinct. The Eritrean man is not extinct. These are Egyptians. So I saw that on television, someone was saying, uh, you know, this, um, you know, this scientist, this archaeologist who's digging a skull was found someplace and then had to be put in the laboratory to be examined to see what these ancient Egyptian people look like. You don't know what they look like? The ancient Egyptian descendants are just next door. Some of them even live in Egypt. You could call only one person to come in and to be examined. Okay, this is an ancient Egyptian. Can we look at your body? Can we assess your skin, please? Can we look at your face to make a film and say ancient Egypt is with us today? Oh, what kind of foolishness is this? Now, after this has been done, Moses saw God. I was still on the story of the Moses and the burning bush, which was in Sudan. So now Moses comes to God, sees a burning bush, and then he hears a voice, Moses, Moses, Moses. And then Moses say, here I am. He replies. And then the first thing that Moses will have to ask, if I were Moses, I would have asked the same question. Who is this person calling me by name? Who are you? Obviously, this question should come into Moses or anyone else that could have the same experience as Moses. Who is calling me now by my name? How do they know that I'm Moses? And why are they calling me? Who is this person calling me? He does not say, who is the God of Israel? What is his name? He's not saying, what is your name? He said, who are you who is calling me? Because I don't know how you can call me even by my name. How do you know I'm Moses? It's straightforward as this. Yeah, then, according to our tradition, because we write the chronicles about our king, for example, King Moses, we write about our king. Our king met God at such and such a place, and God asked him this and this and this and this. These are chronicles. This is the Bible. Verse 1, he met God in a certain place and saw a burning bush. Oh, verse 2, then the voice said to him, Moses, Moses, Moses. Verse 3, then he said, here I am, I'm Moses, but who are you? Why you call me by my name? Verse 4, verse 3. These are verses. This is the Bible. Yeah. So now Moses said, who is this? Then the voice says, I am the one who was and will be. Wow. Ana Zahalo Waihelu. I am the one who was and will be. Waihelu. Ana Zahalo Waihelu. I am the one who was and will be. Because we don't have the present tense, the present of is in guess. It doesn't exist. He can't say, I am the one who is. It's impossible. In guess, we don't have is. We don't have it. It doesn't exist in our language. Maybe in someone else, not in ours. So he is talking about himself in the past and in the future, not the present. No. And when he says, I am the one who was and who will be, it's not saying that it is his name. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He's talking about his status. Yes. So in Beta Israel today, we have what you call Nagara Muse, which means the conversations of Moses. Or if you want, the Chronicles of Moses. Yes, because every king in our tradition has chronicles. Moses was a king, he had chronicles. If we have another king, he has his own chronicles as well. Yeah. Now the people say that the name of the Israelites is called I am. When you say I am in Ge'ez, you say Ana. It is just the beginning of a sentence. I am what? I am the one. I am da 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 da. To continue your statement, it is not the end of the statement. You can't say, if I say I am Solomon, then you cannot say my name is I am because I said I am Solomon. You can't say that. You have to listen to me to finish the sentence, because I am is only the opening of the sentence. Yes. I am what? I am the one. Okay. Who are you? I am the one who existed in the past and will still exist in the future. So there is no need even here, according to logic, even philosophy, to say, I am here today. Of course I am here today because I'm already speaking with you. So why should I say that I am here when it is automatically known that I'm here? So why should my name be I am? When I'm trying to make a statement and I'm opening the statement and saying, I am the one who was and will be. And Moses was not asking him to give his name so that the children of Israel will recognize him. No. Moses is not asking what the name of the God of Israel is. No. He is asking, who is speaking to me in this fashion? So when I go to the people, I want to prove to them that it is you who spoke to me, not someone else. So I need to prove by signs and miracles and things so that the people will know that it is their God who sent me because of the powers and manifestations associated with this call, so that they can be convinced. It's not that the people do not know, or Moses does not know the name of the God, or the Israelites does not know the name of their God. So then the name of the God has to be explained. No, 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 no. They know that their God is called this. They know. Yes. So, but what they need to know is that is it true that God spoke to Moses or not? This is not this is the chief argument. The chief argument is not that the name is this, is not this. The question is, did he speak to Moses or not? Their God, who they know. They have no problem with that. They know him, but the question is, did he really speak to Moses? This is the argument. That's why Moses had to carry miracles and manifestations to prove this, not the name. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. The name is not an issue here. The issue here is that, is he true that you were sent by this God of ours, who we know very well? Yes. You know. So now the whole argument is that this God is called Anna. Because if you want to say I am, you start the sentence with Anna and then you continue. But you cannot end with Anna. No. Anna is not sufficient to make a statement. Yeah. He didn't say his name is Anna. He was opening a statement. I am. He wanted to continue. The people just take the part I am. He said his name is I am. It doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So we are celebrating our tradition here because our scriptures have been messed up. And what you see called Genesis, Deuteronomy, and all that is not correct because the Greeks changed it. And what we know is that after the Israelites left with Moses, that was about 1445 BC, that was first millennia, almost 1.5 millennia. And so they left and then went through we're going to talk about this story also because this story has been messed up ah, by the Greeks. The no, the Jews again. Ish. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Ish. They messed up the story of Moses. What actually happened? So another example which I'll give in the next session, because this session has been too long, I'm sorry, is that I'm going to explain how Moses died, because this is very important in the history of our scriptures, in our scriptures, because this is where the secret really is. When he died, what were the circumstances of his death? Where did he die and what happened during his death? And what was the message after the death and before the death? The message for the children of Israel, what was it like? So I don't want to I made this too long already, and then many of you will get tired of listening to me because it's too long. Maybe you can break it down, so you can have all that message I'm giving you today. But the truth is, the scriptures have been messed up. So what we had originally was called Metshafe Kedus, which means the holy books, the holy book, or Meshaphat. Meshaphat is the plural of Metshafe, which means book, Meshaphat, books. So instead of books, we could use the translation scriptures, holy scriptures. Kedus means holy. I know that the Jews say kadosh. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Kadosh. Kedus. What is kadosh? Kedus. The original word is kedus, from us. Yeah, you cannot change our history, please. Yes, and our language, please. It doesn't change. If you want to speak another language, you can, but don't twist our things. Don't distort our language, please. Stop. Stop. Yes. And so this is the way it should be written, and this is the way it should be pronounced. So I can give as many examples. I can go on and on and on. But today we celebrated the Senbet, as I told you, that is from sunrise to sunset, that the day ends, and then the evening to the end of the evening, which will take 12 hours also, will be the end of the night. And then the day will begin again from hour number 1, not hour 13. No. Hour number 1 up to 12. Then we start from 1 again to 12 again. Yes. So this is Binyam Selamun of Lemba, Beta Israel, speaking from a royal court in Santiago de Chile, working on the preparations for the second Exodus to the promised land of Sinai, which is in South Africa, that we call South Africa today. Salam, salam, Sambat, Salam, Dukike, Lemba, Beta Israel, and all of friends and lovers of Lemba Beta Israel, Sambat Salam.